right. It is Brady Hiestand, who, after more than a year away from the sport, is getting ready to compete again. I guess just give me the feeling right now. I imagine it's got to be exciting to be back in the game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So it's like this is gonna be the longest layoff I've ever had since I was, I think, 16 when I started fighting. So, finally gonna be back in it, and fighting for the UFC. It's a dream come true.
Obviously last time out, obviously things didn't go the way you wanted, but ever so close in that matchup. I guess it's been a while, but what are your thoughts on that fight at this point?
After I went back and watched that fight a bunch, obviously, especially after surgery. I just went back and watched it a few times. I can't be mad at the judges. I feel like I won the fight, but I gave it, I let it be too close of a fight. A lot of people thought it could go either way. Some gave it to me, some gave it to him. Obviously, one judge gave it to me, two judges gave it to him. So, moving forward, I just got to make sure I don't, let the judges intervene, or at least not let it be that close. But, hats off to Ricky. He's a hell of an opponent.
Yeah, no question about it. And then walk me through what happens after that. So after the fight, you find out that you've had an ACL tear, but you've had it for like months at that point. What happened?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little backstory. So when I was on the show, obviously we were, training every day. So the first day we were grappling, it was like the first week we were in the house. We were getting ready for the first 4 fights, which I wasn't a part of. I was grappling with one of the assistant coaches. His name was Colby Thickness. Shout out Colby. And he was a young guy, kind of like us, a 35er. We were just rolling around. He's good at jiu-jitsu. And he went to sweep me. We were on the ground, and my foot got stuck in the mat. I planted weird, and he rolled me through, and I heard a big pop in my knee. And he heard it too, so we just, stopped, and I just, oh, my gosh, what just happened? And so my knee swole up and everything like that. I've never had an injury before this, so I was kind of, wary about it. But I was like, okay, I'll still fight through. I definitely didn't tell any production or anything because I didn't want to get kicked off the show. Right going in, I was like, I watched Juliana Pena's season, and there was a guy that tore his hamstring, and they kicked him out. And I'm like, dude, that's not me. I want to fight. So, but yeah, so I went through the whole season, and turns out, yeah, I completely tore my ACL.
That is absolutely insane, man. I mean, was this thing bothering? I mean, was it in pain the whole time, and was it impacting you? I just can't imagine you go through a whole season with a torn ACL and it's not impacting you in some way.
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad actually, because it was like, the lesser of two evils. So I would jump on it, or I would go to kick and it would buckle and slip, and then it would swell up, and it would hurt, and I couldn't bend it all the way, I couldn't straighten it all the way. That was the worst. But then when the swelling would go down, I'd be like, oh, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling better. And as soon as the swelling went down enough, it would slip again, and then it would blow right back up. And so it was like almost like I wanted it to be swollen so it wouldn't give out on me. But then again, when it's swollen, it hurts, and I can't bend it all the way. So yeah, it was it was hard to watch. And then it's funny because my coach knew about it, and we were like, should we just keep going? And we're like, this is my shot to get in the UFC. I'm in the finale. I already fought twice on it. I'll make it work. And so the Tuesday before we fly out to Vegas for my finale fight, I was sparring and I was feeling good. I went to do a jump kick, landed on it, and I it popped out of place right then. So yeah,
That's insane, man.
but I hear these guys like this. There was that viral video of that guy that wrestled on no ACLs, and so I mean, if they can do it, obviously I can do it too.
Well, much respect, man. That really puts a different perspective on what you went through the entire season and that finale fight even as well, knowing you were dealing with that. So you get the surgery done, and that's one that keeps you out for a while. That's the tough recovery process, right? Well, I mean, I guess how difficult was that for you, just kind of having to sit on the sidelines? And I imagine you want to be in there doing like full-on MMA training, and you're doing basic rehab. That's probably boring as hell.
Oh, so boring. Like I said earlier, I've never had an injury before. Like, I've never broke a bone, never torn any ligaments, anything like that. I think the worst thing I had was like a sprained ankle. And so being out for literally like 6 months, not even able to train, was hard. That was like hell for me. And especially watching all the guys from my season that are killing it, like Andre Petrosky, Brian Battle, even Ricky had a fight, and Ludovic and those guys. So it was hard to watch, just being on the sidelines, seeing these guys progress their career and doing so great. But yeah, got me a lot of time to reflect on myself, got a lot of time to reflect on, my time on Tough. So in the end, I think it was good because it made me take a step back and kind of look at everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, at least you're finally back to action. It's not here yet, but it's much closer than it was before the surgery.
So
November
close.
19th, the fight is lined up. I mean, I guess did this moment feel like it was never going to come? I mean, as you're going through all those months of rehab, are you like, I mean, it had to seem like just forever away.
It did, but it didn't, because this is my like whole life. This is all I train for every day. This is my main job. This is what I focus on. So even though I was out, I was still mentally training, watching videos, but yeah, it felt like forever. And but I'm excited to get back in there, especially with a game opponent like Fernie.
I love it. Talk to me about Fernie. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent? Because as you said, a game dude on paper, it looks like it should be fun.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like the UFC wants me to go fight a bunch of older dudes. He's gonna be the third-year-old I've fought. Ricky was the youngest guy I've fought in the UFC so far, and he is 28. So I'm excited. Like you said, he's game. He's got good wrestling. He's got good slick boxing. I love his trail away left hook. But I'm excited to add him to my resume. I think it'll look good.
So how much different do you think you're going to look from a lot of people who saw you on the show? Now we find out we saw you fighting with a blown ACL. I mean, how much different do you think you're going to show in this performance versus those?
I think it's going to be way different. I think on the show, I mean, I'm a grappler. I've been grappling since I was like 13, 14. So, when I'm hurt or I'm not feeling too great, I go to grappling. And so like in the Josh fight, I kicked and my knee buckled. And so I went to the grappling. So I think in this fight, they're going to see, a more well-rounded Brady, a Brady that can strike, can wrestle, can grapple, all that stuff. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing is you're going to see me able to kick. You're going to see me able to move with good footwork and not have to worry about my leg giving out.
I love it, man. Well, I imagine you've got to be excited. I'm excited to see you in there, especially knowing what you were dealing with. So I guess talk to me about the goal here, man. I mean, is it just get in there and get a win, or is there like something to prove to people? Like, I mean, I got to think maybe you feel like you haven't gotten to show your whole self yet, even to people that watch the show.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm excited to show my well-rounded game, and I'm excited to go out there and I feel like the finale fight was close, and like I said, I think I won the decision, but I think I'm ready to finally go out there and show them the true Brady and put on a performance that makes people be like, dang, that guy's a real contender in this division, and show everyone what's up.
I love it, man. Well, you get that opportunity on November 19th, a surgically reconstructed knee back to 100%.
Oh,
and we look forward to you putting on a show, Brady. I appreciate the time, my man.
yeah, I appreciate you too. Thank you, man.